welcome to Off the Ropes. You know who this is over here, Kane Super Hot Snooker, going over there for my main man from Rollins, the Faded Saint. And welcome to the very exclusive, dark, super, over-the-top, overrated, overcompensated house show special. It's literally just going to talk about stuff that's been going on in the WWE when it comes to these pay-per-views that are not part of the canon of the whole WWE universe, if you want to consider that. Some of us call it glorified house shows, some of us call it pay-per-views on ice. I don't know what to tell you, but I can tell you this much today. We're going to talk about two of the major offshore, off-canon pay-per-views that happened in the last month, and that's the Australian Super Showdown and Evolution. Of course, we did have one other pay-per-view, but due to its political climate, we're going to not touch it as much. Maybe make some comments, threaten about it, maybe complain about some of the results that we did hear about, just didn't watch live, and that is over that happened in Saudi Arabia, Crown Jewel. But other than that, Kami, how you feeling, baby? And
I'm not even bothering with the beer.
Yeah, you're looking for the straight
whiskey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Neat. No ice.
Yeah. No ice, no nothing. Casting crew. This was a 40th birthday present from my mom.
By the way, happy birthday. I know this
Thank you very much.
Recently.
Yes, over the past weekend. Yeah, this is also dark because my equipment just went into full rebellion. We'll try and have video next time, y'all. So here's the deal. Like, you guys know how we have in the past, because Kane has been busy and has not been able to watch the NXT shows. Mm-hmm. Well, it's kind of the same thing here. I was not able to watch the Super Showdown, and nor was I going to spend the time to go back and watch it because only one thing of consequence happened. So it's time once again for Kane Tells Kami About the Pay-Per-View. Super Showdown Australian Edition.
Can I just forfeit and say it happened?
If you want to, I mean,
no. In this case, there were some residuals that definitely had consequences that eventually happened here. But I'm going to make this very short and sweet for you because I do want to go over the one actual pay-per-view that did make a good and powerful effort, and that's Evolution. So in this case, I just want to let you know, when it comes to Super Showdown, our first match in this case was New Day versus The Bar. And of course, the very typical SmackDown-esque style of tag team matches that have been going on that you've seen them do throughout the entire SmackDown shows that happened the last week before that, it pretty much was brought here, except that when they tried to stop Kofi Kingston from doing some things with Cesaro, it burned up in their face, and of course, Sheamus took a nice hit in the face by Kofi Kingston, making the New Day win the tag titles, retain. Then after that, we had Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch. Now, this one would be considered a good match in general because this was designed to show how both women were strong that led up to what's going to happen in Evolution. And that was, it was a one-on-one match, but during that whole big strenuous thing, Becky started to get frustrated with Charlotte. And eventually she took her title and was going to pretty much take her ball and walk home with it. Now, in this case, what happened was during that time, Charlotte discovered that this was happening, threw her back in the ring with her holding the belt, started fighting her, got her into the figure eight. Becky was about to tap when she found the belt right above her head, took it and started swinging it and belting it to Charlotte Flair, causing a disqualification, making Charlotte the winner.
I would like to point out here that I enjoy the fact that with Becky, they've stopped trying to get the fans against her, and that she's leaning into the fans. Back to the fans are just like, you know what? We're with Becky. Fuck y'all.
Yep, we're in a weird world where the heels are the besties and the faces just need to die. And
because good is stupid.
Exactly. Good is dumb.
All right, let's keep rolling. What do we got next?
Well, kind of an ironic match. It's Lashley versus John Cena. Lashley and John Cena, I should say, versus Elias and, in this case, Kevin Owens. I don't know if you want to call...
Get well soon, Kevin Owens, by the way. You're our favorite wrestler.
Yes, and in this case, I'm not sure if we want to call John Cena the real John Cena, because John Cena was in actor mode. He was obligatorily required to maintain the hairstyle he had. So
the JBL hairstyle?
so we were calling it John Bradshaw Cena. So that was the whole thing for him that night. JBC. And in this case, JBC and Lashley, which is why, ironically, I said at Lashley versus Cena, because I was thinking about how the foreshadowing is going to happen that happened in Crown Jewel. But in this case, JBC wins the match for the team over Elias straight up. It was really a shit show match.
Okay.
Five moves Cena, and that was it. Then we had the Iconics versus Asuka and Naomi. This was just a revenge match that's been going on with SmackDown. It was just them being all, well, we got nothing else to do, so we'll have them on the show.
Well, and this was their home country.
Yes, it is.
Mrs. Ty Dillinger and Billie Kay.
This is true. And by the way, good job, Ty.
Good job.
And in this case,
that's a 10. That's a 10.
That's a 10.
I'm saluting you with my whiskey right now, bro. You deserve it.
Indeed. And of course, because they're from the hometown, and I always usually say that the hometown never wins, I got proven wrong, of course, because the Iconics did, in fact, win that night over Asuka and Naomi, which also further buries Asuka, who's been seriously in a sunken.
Has she had like a shit year or what, man?
Yeah, she went from I'm the ultimate god Jesus to what is going on? Am I here? Is this
everyone's ready for Asuka, apparently.
Everyone, even the paper mache that they makes the mask with. Everybody.
All right. So
and then we had our nice little constant love affair that's going on. I don't know how you want to call it, but it's AJ versus Samoa Joe. Since this situation, he's had this weird relationship where Samoa Joe is constantly harassing AJ Styles' family, trying to be the new daddy. It's kind of like some weird WCW thing that came out of the 90s is happening right now. It's almost as if Sullivan was writing the books this time for this one. I have no idea. But it was weird. And, of course, it doesn't matter because AJ is the real Jesus in this game now. He's a phenomenal wrestler. He's great. And I have to tell you, in this case, Kami, that it's all about how AJ Styles does in his performance. But clearly, he is now the new Superman. There's no beating him.
Hey, fun fact. AJ Styles has been WWE champion in 3 straight running Survivor Series when he competes this year.
Yeah, that's true. And yet we're not as mad as if it was Brock Lesnar. It's just
because he's on every pay-per-view defending his damn title.
I'll give you that, but keep in mind that
and he's the best wrestler in the world.
This is true. I'm only just gonna make this one comment, and that is he's starting to look like the whole you can't beat Superman situation. He's been winning quite too much now, and I'm starting to worry that he's eventually gonna be frustrated and bored by the audience. So,
I think what's going to happen is I think they're actually, because the whole Brock thing beating CM Punk went over about as well as a bag of wet cats.
Yeah.
So what I think is going to end up happening is they're going to let AJ overtake Brock.
Let's hope. I really, really hope AJ does beat him in Survivor Series, but that's also future talk. And of course, as we know, AJ did win against Samoa Joe, and that is not the last time we're going to hear about this.
Nope. Which brings us to past the halfway point.
Pretty much. And this one is about the stupid stuff like Rousey and the Bellas versus the Riot Squad. This is all before they decided not to be buddies anymore, as we're going to discuss in Evolution. But in this case, what's happening with this match was literally just going, hey, Ronda's here. Hey, the Bellas exist. Hey, who cares about the Riot Squad? We're just going to squash them out. Yay!
Riot Squad? Yeah. More like Job Squad.
Pretty much. Al Snow would be proud.
Yeah. Call Ruby Riot Al Snow because. So wait a minute. Hold on. If Ruby Riot's Al Snow, that makes Sarah Logan Hardcore Holly.
Yeah.
And Mandy Rose is Gilbert?
I thought it was also the Blue Meanie.
I'm gonna go with Gilbert on that.
Okay. Fair enough.
So I can assume that the Star Power beat out the Job Squad.
Oh yeah, of course. The star-studded cast of the John Cena and family beat out that whole match.
Not anymore. They are not an item anymore.
Still John Cena and family.
Oh, okay.
So in this case, that worked. And now this one was a page turner because I didn't even know he was part of the cruiserweight scene, and that is Murphy from the original.
Mr. Alexa Bliss.
Yep. Who was half of the tag team in NXT, no longer a tag team with them anymore. And in this case, I think he's Buddy Murphy, right?
Yeah, Buddy Murphy.
Yeah. So Buddy Murphy,
who is from Australia.
Yes, which proves me once again, which I will say in a minute. Gotta make a side comment. The fact that he is Mrs. Alexa Bliss, Mr. Alexa Bliss, is fucking awesome. Good job, Buddy Murphy.
Good job. Good job, everyone.
Yep, the Australians know how to get good talent and good relationships. I'll tell you that. So in this case, of course, I always say that the home show for the wrestler usually never wins, and of course, I was proven wrong. Not only did Buddy Murphy win, but he also won the actual only title that actually kind of was defended that night and retained and taken it back was the Cruiserweight title. So Buddy Murphy becomes your new Cruiserweight champion.
That's true, because on the Raw side of things, the Universal, the Intercontinental, and the tag teams were all tied up by the triple threat match. Exactly. And so then it's just the SmackDown side of things that was holding down, and the women, the Raws. This is why I don't watch Raw anymore. Bullshit like this. Yep. You cannot tell me that I'm not justified.
This is the only Raw title that actually was defended that night.
And it's only at this point technically a Raw title. 205 Live is its own thing at this point.
Pretty much. And good job.
It's not even live anymore.
Yep.
But moving on.
So then we go on to the Burr match in this case, and which was shocking because I didn't expect this to be in the middle, but it was the Shield versus the Dogs of War. And of course, what do you think? Shield
won. I mean, they're in Australia like once every 20 years, so of course, this is going to be a send everyone home happy show kind of deal.
Yeah. And then I'm not going to get much into it because this match and the match after that pretty much is just obligatory card writing matches. Next one was Daniel Bryan versus The Miz, and apparently there was some backstage politics because the moment this match rang, it was like a minute in with Daniel Bryan doing the classic roll-up, making the win over The Miz.
Are you serious? Is that all it was?
Yeah, it was fast. Faster than you thinking about it.
He didn't even want to win this match.
Yeah. I think it was to soup him up for the fact that they were going to give him the title for it.
Well, what it was is that he had said, and we're breaking into a little bit later on, but he had said, like as far back as this, that he was not going to be competing in Crown Jewel. Just let The Miz win and let him have the title shot.
Yep.
Did you hear about some of the ridiculousness that they were going to try and pull with that?
We're gonna talk about.
Okay. All right. So this was like a literal 1 minute match.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Now, I think it also is because of the fact that the next and the final match of the night was Trips versus Taker. And of course, it was the show that people was desiring to see because it's never happened before, or the last time it'll ever happen again, or whatever. Bull crap.
Shit.
Yeah, the match.
Like you saw me getting angry about that shit. Yeah. The moment they announced it, it's like last time ever. It's like, no, it's not. And then quite literally, they announced it for Crown Jewel, and I was like, you see, that's why I can't trust their dumbasses.
Yeah, well, I'll give it to them about one thing is that they didn't make it so it's like, hey, we're gonna make this the next match. It was designed to make something specific. We'll get into that. We'll talk about it when we get to the point where we don't want to talk about it anyway. But in interim, when it comes to what's going on, Triple H versus The Undertaker. Kane was in Undertaker's corner. Shawn Michaels was in Triple H's corner. Shawn was doing most of the legwork, to be honest, in the entire match. He was the one interfering the most. He got involved on the ringside, while Kane just looked like somebody forgot to put the controller in on the PlayStation and just sat there. Literally sat there because he barely interfered. The only one time he interfered was when he tried to chokeslam Shawn Michaels. That was it. And the entire time, Shawn was running around. He got the sledgehammer for Triple H. Triple H did the sledgehammer to the face to Undertaker. Pedigreed, 1, 2, 3. That ended that. Now, weird about this, and this is why I find this weird, is they chose to make Undertaker and Kane the assholes after this. Because keep in mind, Triple H sledged Undertaker in the face. Classic Triple H move.
So they pulled a Sting from WrestleMania 31.
Maybe. So this is what happens. They do the whole punch in the face, done, and Triple H has the balls to go up to him and ask to shake his hand. Taker shakes his hand. As you know, Taker's a man. But at the same return, they decided, you know what? No, I don't care about this. Boom. Grabs him, tombstones him. Kane does the same thing to Shawn Michaels, but does the choke slam. And boom. That's how they end the Super Showdown. Them walking out saying, yep, we didn't care about them winning this match because, you know, for reasons. And we're going to walk away.
Yeah.
And that was the Super Showdown.
Okay, well, it doesn't sound like I missed a whole lot. What would you give it as a whole on a rating?
To be very honest with you,
I mean, I know we're making jokes about it being a glorified house show, but they fucking promoted this like it was a top tier pay-per-view. This
is true. I do have to say I was quite upset, mostly because of the fact that these are glorified house shows. I will never grade them above a B when it comes to this kind of stuff. So, but my final grade is going to be a C-.
Okay.
And that's because there were some good matches, but there was a lot of politics. And I hate when a pay-per-view gets screwed over by a political gain. Daniel Bryan versus The Miz is one example. Triple H versus The Undertaker is another example. The fact that none of the Raw titles at all were even remotely defended, even if it was a retainer, because they got stuck up in the top echelon of that whole six-man love fest that they call a fucking feud. And that's it. I mean, you know, you have great tag teams like The Bar, like Revival, like AOP, sitting in Raw watching two non-tag team people, which is Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre, keep these titles so that way they can sit as lackeys next to Braun Strowman, which I naturally love anyway, just so they could fight against Roman Reigns, who was the Universal Champion at the time, and the Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, who was the Intercontinental Champion at the time. And it's just all those things were just sitting there gallivanting all those good titles, all those good wrestlers, so that way they could have this weird six-man match. That was it. So, C-.
Fair.
We talk about the pay-per-view now.
Yeah, let's talk about the good pay-per-view. And of course, we are talking about the first all-women's pay-per-view, Evolution.
And we want to make a correction for Stephanie McMahon. First all-women's WWE pay-per-view, because there have been plenty of all-women's pay-per-views straight from the 80s to now.
This is what I think of Stephanie McMahon.
Hey! Don't do that to my crush! She's beautiful, man! I don't know. Stephanie as a person is a great person. Stephanie as an actor on the TV show,
I don't know.
Stephanie
as a person is kind of also full of herself a little bit too.
I don't know. She's a good PR. She's the philanthropy side of everything has really been a positive spin for the WWE, and she really does work with Triple H, her husband, pretty good on getting shit done behind the scenes when Vince's hands are not involved. So I would disagree with you there.
I'm not saying she's awful, but she is a little full of herself. Just a little bit.
She's a freaking McMahon. Do you really think that's not going to be the case ever?
I'm not saying that's not going to be the case ever, but I mean, we need to be a little honest here. But we're not here to talk about the Stephanie McMahon, the $1 billion princess, who advantageously only really showed up once during the show and was really kind of understated when she did. We're here to talk about Evolution. And let me tell you, between Super Show and the pay-per-view that will not be named, they should be fucking embarrassed. Now, first of all, they did some weird shit with this. This pay-per-view had no pre-cook, and it went on an hour early. So it seemed like it was actually a lot shorter than it was, but it was actually like a 3-hour pay-per-view, like a normal pay-per-view. And what did we get right out of the gate? Well, you know what? I've got 2 words for you, Kane. Trish Stratus. along with Lita, against Alicia Fox and Mickie James with Alexa Bliss in her corner because somebody that will remain nameless in Ronda Rousey concussed Alexa Bliss.
Not just concussed, but the latest news is that she may not even be wrestling for a long time, like DB level concern. Yeah.
But, we get those Rousey headlines, so...
You get that money.
Yay, I guess.
And
which is a shame, because
I do have to give Ronda some slack, though. Yes, she's a little green in that case, and technically she's been humble about earning the championship. She never really wanted it to begin with. She wanted to earn her spots, but they made that weird angle with Nia Jax that made it pretty much personal for her not to take it. So I'll give her that. But, girl, you got to be careful, because Alexa Bliss is the best thing to happen to Raw as a women. She's actually the best thing for the women's division since the beginning of Charlotte Flair coming in.
She has been holding it down on the heel side of the women's heel sides of the women's division since she was called up. She's been consistently a champion, consistently interesting, with the exception of the one god awful segment, the Bayley "This Is Your Life." And this is the thing. This is the second concussion she's given her.
Yep.
This is not number one. So
and
while I get
concussion in general either, she's not the only one who gave concussions too.
No, I get why they're using Rousey, but she's dangerous, and they need to fucking stop, because they're not going to have a women's division if everyone is concussed and can't fucking wrestle. Regardless of the fact, this was a goddamn pleasure to see. Now, I get why this wasn't broken up into two singles matches like originally planned, because Trish and Lita haven't done anything in a while, but goddamn, was it not great to see Lita rocking the Team Extreme fishnets.
Well, if you didn't know, her costume that they wore, there was a single-piece costume, was designed to give her like a throwback look. If you notice in her mid-waist area, there was this pieces of leather that were high above her hips.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like the songs that she did, like Perfection.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. Same thing with Trish Stratus. Her outfit looked like an old rendition of her two-piece set that she used to wear with the pink linings that used to go around her side of her thighs and stuff.
And the Alice in Wonderland themed other group. This was a great match top to front. Yeah.
And I have to give props to Alicia Fox. She knew she was going to come out of this gate with no restitution of anything involving this stuff that's going on. No, like pretty much just like she was like the backup artist for the main actress in a play, and she rocked being that good about it, because she's also been diversely spread out on Raw. She was doing that weird shit with him.
The Noam Dar stuff.
Yeah. Then she pulls out
Alicia Fox.
And then she goes ahead and she rallies up with the person she tagged with that night. In this case, Mickie James, and just starts doing her own vignettes with her without Alexa Bliss, like as if we didn't know she was going to be, like we didn't know they were going to swap her out. So that kind of stuff, all of that. So Alexa, even though she was absent, Alicia did pick up the slack, and I give her a lot of props for that.
She did. Alicia is underrated, and that being said, having Trish there, having Lita there, going up against Mickie James again, like Mickie James was I think the last match of both of their careers.
Yeah, that was some huge. Both of them. Yeah,
right. Exactly.
She won the women's title against Lita that night, causing that the last match ever. She won the women's title again against Trish that night for her last night as well. So it was really good send-offs. The best part about that, of course, is they had that moment that you get between some real good rivals where they're staring right at each other, talking shit to each other, and then going right into it. That was another good moment. And I felt like this was a great opening match to start. Oh, yeah. Just to send out the whole
nostalgia, action thing. You got Stratisfaction, you got the chick kick, you got freaking Lita doing that awkward ass suicide dive. Tope Suicida!
And the classic Lita salt.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this. Commentary wise.
Hold on.
I'm
Lita salt.
No, the classic Lita salt was sweet.
Neck injury and all. Lita salt.
Right
And
on.
I feel like there needs to be an asterisk next to Lita Salt. Lita Salt with neck injury.
Neck injury. But did you have as much trouble as I did discerning from when Beth was speaking and when Renee was speaking?
Oh, they have very identical voices, yeah.
Like, I love Beth Phoenix,
Well,
and I think she brings a lot. And I think she brings a lot to the table. And I love Renee Young.
I think Renee Young was. You could tell who Renee Young and Beth Phoenix was by one subtlety, and that is Beth doesn't have the same enthusiasm in her voice.
That's true. Like, it was, but I had a lot of trouble. It was like Cole and and that's my one criticism is I wish either Beth would have gotten a little bit more into it, or I wish that they would have gotten like somebody else besides Cole, or just let it be the two of them. Cole's actually nice though.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't have much of a problem with Michael Cole as a lot of people did. And I'm not trying to say that they would need a man need to be in that group. I just felt that Michael Cole was a good like gateway towards having more than one woman in the announcing table, because obviously they gave Renee Young Raw, and she's doing fantastic on it.
So we actually need to rebrand this real quick. So yeah. Evolution, the first ever all women's WWE pay-per-view, asterisk and Michael Cole.
I guess so. I don't know. You really can't.
No, I get it. But Michael Cole
and they needed an all women's camera crew. They needed all women's ring gear system people. They needed all women's stage crew.
My point. Well, I'm making a joke out of it, but I mean, I get why Michael was there. I was happy that they let him be a little bit more him than they let him be usually.
Yeah.
Because I like that Michael Cole. That being said, it would have been nice.
I think that was the important part. Is he was very humble.
So, going in after that, of course, Trish and Lita over the Mad Hatter's court. We had the Women's Battle Royal, and we had a ton of people in here. We had Molly Holly, we had Michelle McCool, we had Sonya Deville, we had Natalia,
we had
not Natalia, we had Ivory, we had Asuka, we had Carmella, we had Dana Brooks, we had Alundra Blaze of all people. Maria was out there. The Iconics were out there and were thrown out almost immediately. Lana was out there. Mandy Rose was there. So many people. Naomi, Ember Moon, Nia Jax, Tamina, Kelly, Tori Wilson. I think that's everyone. I don't know. There were so many. But it was a battle royal is what it was. It was a nice little thing, but let's be quite honest here. A battle royal is a battle royal, and
yeah, you know what sucks about a battle royal is there's so much going on. Even in an all men's battle royal, there's just so much going on. The only difference I did like about this battle royal is that everyone got a moment to kick their licks in. The Iconics had all the mic time, so that's why they got kicked out early. The only person I felt bad about was Alundra Blaze, because she looks like she was there because it was a tag in money. Battle Royale means you could be a little stiff, but man, she was like no selling anything, no punches thrown at her. Like she was stiff as a board the entire time.
Well, it's been like what 20 years since she's been in an actual ring. Like her last match was against Evan Courageous. I mean, back in WCW.
You could easily just do classic Hogan shit with her.
You could, but it's hard to do that in a battle royal. The upshot of this was that it all came down to Ember Moon and Nia Jax, and Nia Jax won because Nia Jax.
They did have. I have to say, before one thing we did forget to mention, and this is kind of a big deal. Roman Reigns had a huge piece of news to share with us a week before Evolution, and that was
I thought it was after.
No.
It was directly after, wasn't it?
No, it was not. It was not. That's the whole. And I'll tell you why.
Let's get to the Roman Reigns news after the pay-per-view.
No, this kind of ties into.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's why I'm saying this. The important thing is that he did have a bit of news for everybody to let him know that his leukemia came back, and that was a big shocker because
nobody knew.
And even what's worse is that you could see the crowd going complete shit guilty after that. Because
they were booing the shit out of him right up until he said something.
Yeah, he was doing the classic Roman heat that he was getting, and the moment he mentioned that his leukemia has come back and he's got to drop the title, people were like, oh.
Like I have a ban on Raw, which is pretty well known, but Kane, like, straight up, like, said, you need to turn on Raw right now. It's like, well, I'm not going to do it. Just tell me what's happening. It's like, Roman has leukemia. It's like, that's the worst angle ever. It's like, no, for real. And I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah, he came out as Joe Anoa'i, too. He didn't come out.
Yeah, like, I went back and I actually watched that, and I was just like, oh, shit, my name is Joe. Okay. That's a little different. And we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah, but the reason why I said that is because during this time, during the Battle Royale, Nia Jackson Tamina was doing this like standout thing, and then they do the ooh ah.
No, you're right. You're right.
And throws Lana out, and that was kind of a touching moment because those two are really doing it. And when Nia won, she said straight into the camera, "Joe, you get better. We love you." And then does the whole thing with the speech with I forget the end of that side ring commentator.
Was it Charlie Caruso?
It might have been. Yeah, I think that was her. And of course, Nia was hard to. It was hard to swallow that up because I think it was a big pride moment, and she just said that whole thing to her cousin Roman right there on the off camera look at the hard camera. So she was very emotional when she was trying to answer the whole thing. But of course, Nia is the new Big Show when it comes to face heel turns because she was face there, and the next night she was heel. So
well, it's another turn.
Exactly. Pretty much what's going on.
Am I face or heel tonight?
Exactly. And in this case, it was still a very good battle royale as far as it goes. And I'm gonna say right now, this was still a pretty sweet gravy train going, and it didn't stop because right after that, I thought though it could have gone a little longer, this was still a very good, solid match.
We're of course talking about Toni Storm versus Io Shirai. The finals of the second annual Mae Young Classic.
And this time, I was fan favorite for either one winning.
Yes.
Last year, I was all about Team Shayna because I didn't want Japanese Hollywood Hogan winning that match.
Yeah, and you learned better, didn't you? You've learned better over the last 12 months about the Shayna Baszler train.
Yeah. I'm okay with her situation and how she's doing her heel moves, but this match, I was rooting for both players. I thought both were solid. Nobody was doing nobody was overtopping gimmicks like the last one, and I thought everything was riding on a really good match that either one, if they won, deserved it.
I agree. Of course, they were always going to go with the one that's actually signed with one of their brands, NXT UK. But this was a great back and forth match. Io Shirai, I wasn't really familiar with her work until she was in the Mae Young Classic, and goddamn,
there were some really good women competitors in the Mae Young Classic.
Apparently the favorite to win's knee just exploded.
Huh?
Apparently the one who was the real favorite to win, the one that was supposed to win, her knee exploded in the middle of the match.
And actually, fun fact: one of the wrestlers
that wasn't Rhea Ripley. Who was
that's a good question.
Tegan Knox.
Yes. And fun fact: I believe it was Shirai who got the exclusive knee pad to commiserate her because it was like something special that was hers. So it was really cool to see that the whole Mae Young Classic again, because again, this is like if the Cruiserweights and NXT were doing it right, and that's because Triple H is spearheading this as well, and it was all around a beautiful like organization of really good wrestling for women. Like there wasn't any bad match, I think, at all. That entire
run. No, I mean my complaints about the last Mae Young Classic were all Shayna Baszler matches, and it was entirely how they fed her.
Yeah,
the finish. And that was it. But this was a great finisher. You saw Triple H and you saw Stephanie, but they really didn't say anything. They were just kind of there to present the award. And then it was off to a video package, and Sasha Banks, the boss, and Michael Cole. I know you're listening, and I want to make sure that this is abundantly clear. I want you to listen to me. I want you to listen to me right now.
Softness.
It will never be boss time. Stop trying to make it a thing. Anyway,
Nunny.
Sasha Banks, Bailey, and Mrs. Faded Saint Natalia versus the Riot Squad.
Actually, you know what?
It was a good match, though.
Whole different version of those three from Super Showdown to now. They were a well-tuned oil machine that night. They were isolating Sasha a lot. They kept pretty close quarters. They did fantastic tag team finesse to keep the motions going. The only thing that, of course, happened is this was one of those classic heel versus face moments where the heels dominated the entire match, and then all of a sudden that one stroke of midnight opportunity where the face get their one-off moves, and bam! All of them are like, I can't stand this no more. I quit. 1, 2, 3. And that was it. That was pretty much it.
Let me tell you, though, it's almost as if, because I do like the Riot Squad. I really do. My aversion to Ruby Riot withstanding. Like, I swear, it's like I can't tell where her neck ends and her face begins. I really can't. But my aversion to Ruby Riot aside, it's almost as if they're wasted without a tag team title to put around them. Right?
Oh yeah, I think that you know what's so weird? I'm officially done with rumors when it comes to pay-per-views and they're coming up, because I could have swore up and down there was a big one.
No, there was. You're 100% right. And there's like, they're going to introduce the tag team titles. It's like, no, they're not. No, they're not. Because if they haven't done it already, they would have to either do combine the women's tag team division into one division, which means there are going to be people on both brands, which they're not going to do. Or B, they'd have to do tag team belts for each division, which there's not enough women and not enough time devoted to each woman to make that happen. Maybe next year when SmackDown goes to Fox Sports and they get that third hour, dear fucking God, help us. But, I like the Riot Squad.
I feel like if they're going to do this, they're going to do this at WrestleMania. They like to do shiny new belt changes there.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I just don't think they're going to do it at all. Not unless they're going to give the women their own show, which I don't think should be off of the question. But regardless, Mrs. Faded Saint, not Boss Time Sasha Banks, and Bailey was there too, over the Riot Squad. Which brings us to, this match just keeps happening. This is like the new AJ Samoa Joe, isn't it?
This is beyond AJ and Samoa Joe. This is actually a year-long feud.
I know. We're talking first about the Pirate Princess, Kairi Sane, and the person who you needed two other MMA fighters to make interesting, incredible, Shayna Baszler.
Oh, no. Fuck you. This match.
Okay, I'm being mean. I will grant you, I am being mean there.
Yeah.
She was actually pretty good in this match.
Yeah.
That doesn't make up for the other 70 matches she wasn't good in. But she's come around. She's gotten better. She still needed two other people.
I'm going to be honest with you. I really think this match was meant to be very personal. Like, very personal. She was pissed. Super pissed that Kairi Sane won the women's NXT title over a stupid where she was trying to tap her out and she flips her over to try to get the pin with the
Right, but like that's the thing. Again and again and again and again. That's always the thing that beats her. Like if your move is so easily countered, it's like, oh no, I'm choking out. Well, let me roll onto my back. Oh no, my only weakness. It's like Nia Jax in like the Guillotine show.
Something like that. But
my vulnerable neck. How did you know?
Well, either way, it was very personal, this match. I mean, she went hard on her. Like she was that one move that she did on the corner turnbuckle, hanging Kairi Sane outside the ring like that.
Like messing with her shoulder and
her
arm and just
unreal.
Oh no, this was the most interesting Shayna Baszler has been.
Like if this was sex,
ever.
This was a straight up hate fuck. Like you just fucked to hate.
But
that was it.
Again, I feel like they don't either Shayna can't pull off what they need her to pull off that works with her type, or they don't understand her. Because, again, here's this big, badass MMA chick, and she needs two other badass MMA chicks to get her the title. She had one to distract, the other to knock Kairi out, and then that was it. And your winner, and 2-time NXT Women's Champion, the Queen of Spades. Okay, you know what? Stop with the spade thing too. It looks stupid. It looks stupid. I like, the kissing of the hands and like there. I get that. That's arrogant. But doing the spade things, it looks like you can't decide what direction you're going in, and you're just kind of pointing generally. Like point up to the left, point to the right. Just like do something. Just
I have to tell you, I have to say this: if they get Ronda to work with the other two, which clearly they're going to go into WWE as well, and they have Shayna Baszler,
needs to be kicked down to NXT.
Hear me out. If they do this, they need to stop saying that they're the four horsemen of the MMA. They should just call them the Royal Flush Gang, because she's already got the aces going on for Shayna. You could call Ronda the Queen of Hearts, and you can give the other two the Diamond and the Club, and they could be known as the Royal Flush Gang. Like that would be like amazing.
That would be, but it's a little too gimmicky for Ronda. Like I could do it with the other three because they have power. Ronda Rousey's friend, which goes away when Ronda Rousey is there.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, that is the only reason why Shayna had the title the first time around. Well, that's the only reason why Mojo Rawley has a job. Gronk's friend.
What?
Gronk, like Rob Gronkowski. The only reason why Mojo Rawley has a job is because he's Rob Gronkowski's friend. And when Rob Gronkowski is finished with football, he has said straight up, I'm going to go into wrestling. And as long as they got Mojo there, then he's coming to the WWE. And that's another big name that they can fucking put on a part-time contract and push to the moon without any skill.
He's a dedicated guy, though.
Oh, I'm sure he is. But he's pushed harder than he should be.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
He has been for a while.
I'll give you that, but let's not talk about him.
When he was with Zack Ryder and they were the Hype Bros, that was his level of success.
Let's not talk about him as much, because let's talk about the fact of how this match ended, and that is, she during the.
I don't even know her friend's name.
Don't matter.
Blonde MMA chick number 1 distracted the referee.
Yep. The other one did a swift kick to the face to Kairi Sane, which glad her unconscious so that they could do the Baszler move, and she taps out 1, 2, 3. Well, actually, she's unconscious.
No, she passed out.
Yeah, she passed out. So they did the I did strong move for her.
Yeah, and then they had her like trying to go after the three of them after the match, even though she was being held up by a referee.
To be very clear, this was still a solid, good match.
Oh yeah. This was still a solid, good match.
You got to feel the emotions going through each other, like Anakin versus Obi-Wan on Mofar, and it's just not giving in to it. Like, why is this happening? And I hate you at the same time.
I just feel like Shayna isn't the chicken shit heel, but that's the way they went with her.
I don't know. I don't see her as a chicken shit heel.
If you need two other people to help you win a belt against a tiny Japanese pirate.
You're forgetting that the other two got hit in the face by Kairi Sane, which is why they went after her.
No, they didn't. Yeah, they started shit with her first.
Still,
the point of the matter is that she still needed two other people to win.
They weren't ringside like they were like Shawn Michaels helping Triple H. It wasn't like that.
They were in the crowd, but they were sucker punched her.
Yeah, it was archetype revenge, but it's not the same to me. It still hold her own weight. She still did a lot of the heavy lifting. They just needed to give her a plot twist at the end. That was it.
I still don't think it's her character, but agree to disagree.
Fine, because the best match in the world is happening next anyway, so it's all good.
Oh, the last woman standing match. The last woman standing match between the man, Becky Lynch, your world heavyweight women's champion, and Charlotte Flair. And fucking hell, they did not come late. They came in there and they're like, y'all want to see a last man standing match? Like, there was drama.
They came in with their own personalized strapped-on dildos based on how I saw it. Because the fucking thing that happened in that match was just unrealistic. They went everywhere. There was not a corner in that area that they didn't want to mess with. This
match should have been last. Why SmackDown keeps getting fucking screwed out of the main event because it's not Raw is fucking beyond me. But this should have been the last match because this was the best match of the card. This is probably the best match of the last 2 months.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I mean nobody walked out, so it's not like they would have an issue with people leaving for the last match. But
no, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying this is clearly the match that deserved the headline.
Well, this was the Broadway match. This was 100% the Broadway match.
Yeah,
they did a fantastic job.
They did.
Every inch of it. It was brutal, and it was brutal in a way that didn't make you seem like they were going to be bloody and broken at the end. It was just they were just like, I'm going to make you unconscious for 10 seconds. It's going to happen.
Like it was just a straight up fucking beat down for 30 straight minutes. They were just
and you know what?
Crap out of each other with everything they could find.
Granted, this is probably the first on-air pay-per-view last women's standing, but let's also not forget that this happened already between Asuka and Nikki Cross in NXT.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You guys can sit there as like the first time ever, but we remember. I remember my girl Nikki Cross. Y'all don't give her respect. I give her respect. I was so happy when she came on the freaking SmackDown. Yeah, she did a great job too.
That match was fantastic as well.
It was absolutely fantastic.
I have to say though, this one beat them though.
I'm not saying that it wasn't better. I'm just saying, y'all, NXT is WWE too. Don't y'all play.
Yep.
Don't y'all play. I know that was Vince. That said that. Well, if it didn't happen on the main roster, it didn't happen.
Yep, exactly. Fuck that.
But Becky Lynch brutally over Charlotte Flair to retain her championship.
Yeah.
Which brings us to...
Which, by the way, that required... Let's recap. That required 2 announcer tables, a chair shot, ladder shots, and a top rope powerbomb through a wooden table for Charlotte to not get up. And even then, she failed to get up at the 9th second. She was already practically getting up, and she couldn't get up to 10. That's how that ended. Beautiful. Goddamn beautiful.
Becky, Charlotte,
both strong.
You deserve so much better than the WWE.
No, they're in the right space. They're getting paid well.
They're getting paid. They're getting paid well, but they should be the top of the card, regardless.
I think they need a lot more main event matches. I'll give you that. But I don't think
that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
I don't think they need to go anywhere else.
No. That's what I mean. They deserve more main event matches. They deserve better. They deserve better.
They're in the right company, and sooner or later they're gonna get their just desserts as far as earning top bill all the time.
They should have their own show. They really not the two of them, but the women should have their own show.
That's too much segregation at this point.
I do
think that they need more availability.
Okay.
I think that if there's a 9-card situation, we offered mandatory 3 of them.
I agree. But with that said, that brings us to the last match, and I will apologize for the title card not meshing up with the rest of them. Like the WWE didn't bother to update with the theme on this one with everyone else. They just decided this was going to be it, and then they didn't do the star theme with everything else. But it was the Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey versus Nikki Bella with Brie Bella, and of course this was always going to be the headliner because it's fucking Ronda Rousey.
And
whether you like her, and whether you and it's the Bellas.
Bellas draw. I don't care if you hate it or like them, they draw. And it's because it's Cena and family. It's Cena and family, dude.
But it's not Cena and family. It's D. Bry and family.
No,
but I will say this much: Nikki as her own brand
of that group, even though they're no longer dating, it's Cena and family. John Cena made them bigger than ever. That's why they're Cena and family.
Okay. Regardless, this match was only ever going to end one way. There was no one in the world that thought they were going to feed freaking Ronda Rousey to Nikki Bella. Yeah, I don't care if you're Supergirl, Superwoman, Superman. I don't care. There was no way that was ever going to happen.
Yeah. No
that being said, they made it compelling enough. Like, I never questioned it, but they made it compelling enough with Brie also getting involved. I don't know if you noticed this, but when Ronda Rousey went for like the twin little Samoan spin thing that she does, that Samoan drop that's not really a Samoan drop, if you noticed, if you looked, like Brie was basically just positioned her arms to where they would cradle Nikki's neck so that she didn't get hurt.
Well, that was kind of like a thing because let's face it, Ronda could have easily snapped her neck.
Oh yeah. Like Ronda throws off live rounds, and like that's nothing good happens there.
She's got to remember she's not in an MMA fight,
right? And that's, I think, most of the problem. But I mean, here's the thing: like, it was entertaining enough. At no point did I ever think Nikki was going to win, but it was entertaining enough. Should it have been the main event? No. I think if you would end it on Lynch and Flair, that would have been a much, much better ending. And while I put a lot of credence on the way something ends, I will drop your ass by a letter grade or more if you disappoint me in the end. Nothing here was so egregious that I'm going to do anything like that. For like the first time in 3 months? I still think I'm not going to say that Rousey Nikki going last dropped it a letter grade, but I am saying that if Lynch and Flair had gone back, I probably would kick it up a letter grade, at least half a letter grade. All in all, though, that was Evolution, the first ever WWE women's pay-per-view, and I am a fan. I am a fan. While I don't think it was an A+ show or even an A show, I will give it a solid B+. It had effort. There was a couple of things they could have done a little bit better. There were some weird production things which just kind of took away from it. And that was a part of why I'm not giving it like a straight up A, but everything was entertaining. Everything was great. The Battle Royal was as good as you could ask for a Battle Royal. You got your nostalgia. You got your normal stuff. A lot of stuff that made sense. And in the end, for reasons that are completely undeserved, Raw got the main event over SmackDown. So just like a regular pay-per-view. But, wow, I think this is actually the first pay-per-view to break the C mold in 6 months for me, I think.
Yeah.
God damn, WWE, you need to step up your game. At any rate, what do you think? What did you think of it?
I'm going to give this an A. I think that people are criticizing this a little too much because of I personally don't care who goes where, what, as long as the match makes it happen for you. The whole thing that has to be last is not as a big deal to me as it is to like for you and some other people. Because let's face it, they're gonna do the money draw. Mostly, the person who goes last is very political, not any way motivated based on talent or bests. They honestly still think they got to play safe, and that is the money card is Ronda Rousey, because Becky and because let's face it, Becky and Charlotte are only wrestling talent. They're not star talent outside of this world. Until that happens, until they get Cena-fied like The Rock, they're not going to get the top main card over Ronda Rousey, who is worldwide known as something else. So I just believe that that's going to not happen. I'm not going to invest my time in being behind a fight that I know I'm going to die on that hill with. So I'm not going to say that was a mandatory need. And if I eliminate that, everything else was just goddamn beautiful. I was still very surprised at the Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler match and how personal that was. I thought that the first match of the night was a great opener. I thought the very stiff and uncompromisable, usually shitty battle royales that every battle royale ever existed was quite a breathtaking freshness because of how they did it. They didn't just throw people out and it was just two people at the end. They did it in the sense of a story arc. Oh, this happened, this happened, this happened. I thought that the match of the night still hands down is that last match with Charlotte and Becky. That was just beautiful in all way, shape, and form. There was everything about it that made it that for the first time giving the women's division a shot at doing something important by having them exclusively do their own pay-per-view and rock the fucking socks off of people does not deserve anything less than an A in my book.
That's fair. I'll agree with you there. I would like to also point out the other two pay-per-views in air quotes. The pay-per-view that will not be named and Super Showdown got the big money like treatment. They had the house show equipment out there for Evolution, the big sets were ready for Raw and SmackDown, and it still managed to eclipse anything that either of those did.
Mm-hmm. And this was NXT caliber of expectation to me,
right? And that brings us to the end of the pay-per-views. We are going to cover one more thing, but as all of you astute people will notice, we're not going to put a graphic up for it because and this is a me thing entirely. I refuse in any way to promote that pay-per-view. But it did happen, and one major thing did happen of it. And since we are somewhat journalists, we do have to actually say, as we said before,
comment about it, not go over it.
Right. Roman had to vacate the Universal title because he had leukemia. Well, first of all, before we actually get into the ramification of that, I would like to say a personal fuck you to any fans out there who have been saying that this is a work to get us to like Roman. That's a thing. And that's real personal to me. I lost a friend of mine to leukemia. And while I can agree that the WWE is very toned down in a lot of things that they've done, to try and turn leukemia into an angle is, I think, even beyond them. And for you to even suggest it, that something as life-changing as this, as detrimental to this man's family, to this man's career, to this man's health, that he would, for a moment, pretend this just to get the crowd to turn on him? Seriously.
It's also a shame that, in a way, the crowd did become all face behind Roman after this happened. It's a goddamn shame that took a disease to make people believe in Roman Reigns. And that's just unfair because that man didn't change a damn thing about himself the entire damn time. He kept himself resolute and he kept himself prideful. And he actually had this information for a while, and he went through this. And he didn't change his character in any way, shape, or form, now or after. And now, all of a sudden, because of this situation, you're going to be behind the guy that you said should never wrestle, should just go fuck off for a long time. He needs to stop being the main push.
Or even worse, the people who are glad that this is that they got him off of his TV, even if this was the reason. Seriously, fuck you guys do.
Fucked up.
But I blame that on the writers. I've as you said, when this news broke, I've never really been Team Roman. I really haven't. I'll admit to it. I'll cop to it right now. But I've always blamed the writers. I've always said, let Roman be Roman.
I never appreciated the push Roman keeps getting from Vince, because you can even see it in Roman's face that he's like, man, can you just let me not do this for a little bit? Because you can see it's forced sometimes.
And the reason why we bring this up first is that it's brought the WWE into complete free fall. And at the event that had to be named, of course, now that Roman's out, that meant you had one of two choices now for the Universal Champion. The guy who's there every week, or the fucking other guy. And guess who won?
Shane McMahon won.
Fucking Brock Lesnar.
That was the other problem. Okay.
And I quit watching Raw after Hell in a Cell because I was done with it. And it was actually a prophetic moment, because my brother texted me after he had heard the last thing when Mr. RBG had subbed for us, and said, so I see a trend for you. So if you just take the main event, the Raw main event, out of every pay-per-view since WrestleMania, does that change your view of the WWE? I was like, Yeah. Yeah, it does. Like, literally, Raw is the problem. And that's why I gave up. And this just is more toned. Like, why? Why? Why would you put Brock with the championship again? And dear God, Daniel Cormier just told Brock to bring the Universal Championship to their MMA fight when they have it, and he'll take that off of him too. We're never seeing that belt again. I hope you guys know that. That belt's gone. There is no more Universal Championship. It's flying away. Bye, Universal Championship. Bye.
Oh, I just got some news.
Uh-oh.
Monday Night Raw, when it's 11 o'clock, that's it. They're no longer airing anything after that on USA.
Good.
So if there's any overdraft, no.
Well, they've had shit ratings for the last 2 months, and that's the booking.
Yeah,
I can't do it anymore with Raw. I can't. And I know you said that this last one was really great.
I'm going to remain vigilant and watch the show. Someone's got to do it in this podcast. I'm going to keep feeding that.
And I understand that, and I don't judge you for that. But we
I have
had 2 people cancel their subscription.
Yeah.
Because of just the shenanigan.
To be fair, one of them never had a subscription. Did
he not?
Yeah, he was just making like the carry wagon statement there.
Boo!
But
whichever one you are, boo on you if you're listening to this. I am judging you so hard.
But to be honest, I honestly, I mean, you knew CJ was coming. You knew it was going to happen. Granted,
I knew it was going to happen, but I never watched it.
Granted, Braun Strowman.
It was on my birthday.
Was the wish of wishes to win that match, but I can tell you this much: there's 3 reasons why I know that they weren't going to give it to him, and I'm the biggest fan of Braun Strowman. First one, he is medically not clear anymore. He can't wrestle. He blew out his knees. He is shot to shit.
But he blew out his knees after Crown Jewel.
No, this was the week of. He blew it out on Raw. So he had problems with his knees. That's why he couldn't do it. Second, whoever was going to be that Universal Champion had to verse the World Champion at Survivor Series, and they do not have faith in Braun Strowman making headlines against AJ Styles like they would Brock Lesnar. And third, they really want to get paid. And Brock Lesnar makes money for them. So until they yes, horribly, he makes money for them.
With who? Not with the fans. Like I'll grant you, like maybe
to find the fans anymore. Because I'll tell you this much: you and I and the people that we agree with in these type of associations.
Oh no, we don't matter anymore because they're getting $1 billion from Fox. They're getting 47 million to do Crown Jewel and taking blood money.
In kid merch because the 12-year-old is getting all the John Cena packages and the Roman Reigns packages, and that's where they're going to focus on those kids and what they see on the content.
I don't even think they're focused on those kids anymore, if I'm quite honest.
They are.
They're focused on.
Is involved. He is going to continue that train, but once he's no longer there, I'll shit you not. The people that want to be heard are going to be heard because I'm telling you, man, Triple H knows how. I was just having this conversation with my neighbor in here in the Parts Unknown, and that is we were talking about how Triple H single-handedly in the last decade has made bigger impacts in wrestling business for the WWE than anybody in the last 30 years working for Vince in the WWE.
I'll agree. But I mean, just to also corner a point, with the show that will not be named, even though I just named it like a minute ago.
We'll call it Crown Jewel. And we know what the hell it's been. We just don't condone the shit behind it.
Oh no! And if was that not like the worst shit show ever?
Yeah,
they lost Triple H because of an injury. Because of that.
I make this very clear to everybody out there that's also listening that this is not an anti-Semitic, anti-Muslim, or any reason or anti-nationalist issue that has to do with Crown Jewel being over in Saudi Arabia. It has to do with a very disgusting political climate that's going on in the United States, what happened over in Istanbul and Turkey, what happened in Saudi Arabia in general when it comes to the politics of the Crown Prince. These are all the main reasons why this was happening still, because they're contracted. You know what's even worse? What's worse is because I did all this research about this. This main reason why they didn't back out of Crown Jewel is because they are part of a 9-year contract with a 2 pay-per-view minimum each year to occur in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, feel good about that, Vince.
And we're talking about a $500 million contract. $500 million.
Yeah, they're stuck. They're gonna have to keep doing it.
Part of their Pride 2030 thing that Saudi Arabia is trying to do.
Yeah,
that's the smut of why we're not involved.
Regardless, we got Survivor Series coming up next. We might have some legitimately good matches. I mean, hey, the World Championship might actually be in the main event for once.
I hope, for God's sake. You know what I would love to see them do? I'd love them pull a 180 on us. I would love to say that this is a match for both titles. The winner gets both titles, and that's when they give AJ the Universal. And they just do this unification thing, and they just have them go on both shows, because might as well. There's nobody on Raw that's doing.
I'd start watching, and before we cut to the end here, I just want to say that the problem with the Braun Strowman, with what happened because of Roman, that whole problem, I don't feel bad one bit about them, because that's their fucking fault. They've got plenty of people who they could have elevated and they could have put up there in that position. They could have done this any other way. They freaking bury Braun in 6 minutes. You can't put Drew McIntyre in there. You can't sit there. That guy doesn't look like a world champion. You can't throw Dolph in there. You can't throw Seth in there. Dean was there. Dean wasn't doing anything. Dean was there for Renee. You can't throw Dean in there. The fact that you don't have an upper card and your only option was to put it on Brock Lesnar, that's your fault. That's not my fault. And it's shit like that, again, which is why I'm not bothering with your...
They can make last-minute decisions, because the Raw before Crown Jewel, Bobby Lashley replaced John Cena.
Yeah,
like that.
Because John is, like D-Bry, is a man of integrity. And speaking of which, I want to bring this up real fast. They were going to go through to try and get...
Oh, yeah, you say that earlier. Yeah.
Did you know how far they were trying to go to get to make this work with D-Bry, AJ Styles, in Saudi Arabia? They were going to try, and I don't even know how they would have fucking done this. They were going to try to green screen him in. I don't even know how.
No, last time I remember, they were going to do a video package, and they were going to have that fight, and they were just going to put it on like how at Raw 25 they had the people that were at the arena that was the original Raw arena watching a big screen of Raw. Yeah, that was pretty much what they were going to do to that.
But I mean, and big ups to D-Bry. D-Bry, who wasn't just he was like the political climate, the fact that the women can't come over, the fact that my friend Sami Zayn couldn't wrestle here the first time around. Fuck y'all. And you know what? John Cena's not going to feel anything about it. Vince ain't going to do shit to John Cena. That is money right there. But D-Bry, he may have realistically have just signed away his ability to be a long-term champion, if a champion at all, for the rest of his days in WWE. Yeah. And that takes a real person to do, and I salute you, Daniel Bryant.
He was one of the few. I mean, granted, John Cena he gets to do that no matter what.
Yeah, John can do whatever he wants.
Daniel Bryan could have easily went south of that. What hurts the most is there's nobody besides Daniel Bryan.
No, everyone else was that. I didn't blame a single other person for not pulling out that show, because there was no one else who could have done it. Because realistically, what do they do? If they fire Daniel Bryant, he waits his 90 days, and then he is the biggest free agent in the world. What are they going to do? Yeah. John Cena is a walking billboard for them.
You know what's even worse is the WWE really needs to catch on that they are not the big fish anymore to enjoy wrestling about.
Oh, no.
Because look at Cody Rhodes. That man soared top of the moon. and he broke records, and he's doing fantastic. There's nothing wrong with that. And New Japan, man, they're right behind them. They're sitting right there waiting.
You know, it came out this week that Naito refused a contract for the WWE because he saw what they did with Shinsuke, and he was like, nope. I got a major feud with Chris Jericho, and it's the hottest thing going right now. You think I'm going to give that up for you assholes?
Chris Jericho, he deserves to be known as the greatest of all time.
He is.
Because he can planeswalker through any fucking wrestling show and be there and show up and be like, yeah, we're going to use him. We're using
Chris Jericho, Meg's favorite wrestler, L'Oreal's favorite wrestler, is the greatest of all time. Don't think I don't know you're still not listening, and don't think just because we're not doing mid-slates anymore that I don't know that you go to his gym, you stalk him, you steal his laundry, you're like sitting there, you're following him around when he's in the Whole Foods trying to get him.
And secretly wrote your name in the list.
It's secretly wrote your name in the list three times. L2J, I know, we know. And before we just go completely off, because, wow, we've run pretty long. We've actually done like a full-length show without a break here. We would like to thank Ben Sound, and I'm sorry, not Ben Sound. We would like to thank All Arounda for our opening theme, Destruction. We would also like to thank Chet, for our closing theme, Picnic in the Reactor. If you would like to say something to us, I am at Faded Saint on the Twitter. I am also commysite.tumblr.com. If you would like to ask me a question over on the Tumblr, we're going to be back for Survivor Series. Hopefully the video issues I'm having will be back so we can bring you some nice video intros again. And if not, we'll work through it just like we always do. We are somewhat professionals here. Anything else to add before we wrap up?
Vince, buddy, it's time to retire.
Go do your XFL thing, dude. The sooner that you're out of my wrestling, the happier I'll be. Anyway, I'm your boy, Kami the Faded Saint. That is my boy, Kane Super What Snuka saying. We'll see you on the next podcast.
Later, folks!